Welcome to the Voices of the Caring Place, everybody, where hope has a voice and transformation has a story. Every meal served, every bread prepared, every prayer whispered is powered by compassion and community. The Caring Place is more than a shelter. It's a movement. It's fueled by businesses, it's fueled by churches and everyday heroes working together to change lives. Today we are honored to welcome Jonathan Cuesta to the conversation. Well, here we are today, and we are with Jonathan Cuesta from Date Construction, and we're so blessed and happy to have you. Jonathan, welcome to the Voices of the Caring Place. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
It's so great to have you today, Jonathan. I want to get off because you've connected with us, you've connected with the Caring Place, but this is mostly about you. Tell us a little bit about Date Construction. Tell us a little bit about you and the journey.
Sure. So I started the business about 14 years ago. We primarily do interior remodeling and renovation contractor. I, grew up in Miami-Dade County, always done work for different contractors, decided to start my own business, and ever since then we've grown to 50 employees, thank the Lord.
I see your passion. I see how you care about people, how you care about society. Yep. Tell us a little bit about the construction and what it is exactly that Date Construction, how are you making a difference?
One of my first clients was Ultimate Software Group, and their motto was people first.
Okay.
And then, so working for them, we were able to see how they treated people, that the way you treat the least paid, the lowest paid employee is basically a representative of who the company is and who you stand for. So I really saw the way they did that, and I took that upon myself to do the same thing with the staff. So, we're very, very dedicated to our staff, to their development, to their growth, to their family, to their faith. We actually hold Bible.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Twice a month we do a Bible study. We send out an email. It's totally voluntary. It's actually not part of Date Construction. It's during lunch, so I buy lunch for the team, whoever would like to join.
Correct.
And then we host a bi-monthly Bible study.
It's funny you say that. You have to invest in ministry, right? You have to invest in the people that you're working with. So how is it, the response to this?
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. It's definitely, the company is a safe place for them. Faith is very, very personal. Faith is very delicate. Cool. People have been told a lot of things about faith. One thing that I've noticed about people in general is, and you can ask this question to everybody you've ever met in your life, correct, how many people have read the Bible?
Yeah.
You're going to get a very low number. They may have read a chapter, a verse, maybe even a book out of the 66.
Yes.
But somebody who has read the entire Bible, you will count them on one hand.
Sometimes people open the Bible. That's what the Lord says about it.
Exactly.
Right? They put their finger on it and they say, this is the verse I got to live by.
Yeah. So I one of the things that I try to tell people is, don't go by what I say, what your pastor says. See what God says. Read the Bible, do some research for yourself. Check into that. And then when we live that way, I notice that does transcend into our business. Why? Because now you're accountable to God, right? So that means that we have to hold ourselves to that authority. I would say, do work and treat your life as if you're doing it all for the Lord. Yeah. We have an audience of one. It's Jesus Christ. So every day I wake up and I say, okay, Lord, I want to make you proud. I want to make you happy. And I tell people, don't worry about Instagram followers or about what other people think. Ask yourself this question: what does God think about you?
What is your passion? What drives Date Construction as far as community work, as far as things that you guys are doing?
Well, I would say that we live by Matthew chapter 7. We want to store up heavenly treasures, right?
Okay.
So we not only do we want to be the best contractor in Miami-Dade County for to glorify our Lord Jesus Christ, but also we want to give back, right? Yes. We want to give back. So the Bible's clear. It says, store up heavenly treasures. So one of the things that we do is anytime we have an opportunity to help the community, we're doing that because we know, and the Bible's very clear. Jesus says that take care of the less fortunate.
Yes.
We're involved with probably like 8 different charities. And on a monthly basis, I personally go to them, like I'm here at this event.
Yes.
I was with you guys on Friday. We talked about the Good Friday event that you guys hosted, which was phenomenal.
Which was an amazing event.
Amazing.
We'd love to have you there.
Thank you.
And I was the picture that I just saw of you washing the feet of the homeless and what you want to do in the community. So tell us a little bit about how did you end up in the construction business?
So construction has to do a little bit with my testimony. I was a dishwasher at Little Caesars Pizza.
Wow.
That was going to be, my goal was to become the manager of Little Caesars Pizza. That was my end goal. I was an atheist. I did not believe in the Lord, but I met Jesus, okay? Supernaturally, I met him. And after meeting him, I got into FIU. I studied construction management.
Wow.
After I studied construction management, I worked for various general contractors until I decided, some of the subs told me, Jonathan, I think that you could do this on your own and you don't have to always be an employee. I think you would make a good business owner.
Yeah.
So I gave it a shot, and thanks, praise be to God, he blessed me incredibly. Doors opened that they should have never been open. And I've seen the power of God through having a business has been one of the greatest ways that I've connected with God. Because when you have a business, the money is not guaranteed. Yeah. Payroll is not guaranteed. You're going to have good months. You're going to have bad months. And I always tell people in trials and tribulations in your life, there's two heart postures towards God. There's, God, I hate you. How could you? Which that's 50% of the people. And then it's, God, I need you. Help me, on my knees, clinging to him. Right. And I was the one on the right. I was always clinging to him. And he never once, he let me tread water. He'll let the water get up to here.
But he'll never drown you, right?
He'll never drown you. He will
never let you drown.
He will never let you drown.
But it takes faith.
100%.
It takes stepping out. It takes action.
Yep.
It takes you taking, it's always God giving you a choice. And it's always, what you do with what the treasures that he's given you. So you're out there, people are watching the podcast, they want to know about Day Construction. How do they connect with you?
Through our website, our social media, our Google, you could see our reviews and testimony. I love Google because if we were doing a bad job, you could talk bad about us, right? But you're not going to see that through our reviews. We strive for excellence every day. That starts from the top all the way down to our lowest employee.
Yes.
And everybody has to treat the customer as if they're like royalty. Act like the president of the United States just walked in. How would you treat them? Now
touch that. How do you train your staff? How do you get your team to know that that's the way they have to go?
I guess because the company started with one employee and to 50. So every employee that came, I was able and blessed to work with them. Now that the company is 50, I don't get to work with them. But the key pillars in the organization that I have trained for many, many years have now trickled that down. It's the waterfall effect, right? Yeah. So I tell you, you're my first employee. Hey, this is the way we're going to do this business. Then we hire somebody. You train them that way.
So everybody's got to speak the same language.
The same language. And those who are not, FYI, and a little key to business, right? I'm quick to hire and I'm quick to fire. If your values do not align with our values, you will not be a member of our organization. I don't let that cancer spread. And we've seen those cancers before. They come in with a different idea or giving subpar service, you're out. You're out. So I'm a little bit cutthroat in that sense because in order to achieve excellence, it's like building an all-star team. You're not going to get on that all-star team if you're not an all-star, right? So we only want the best quality players on our team that are going to deliver that excellence every single day. If you're coming with a negative attitude, we'll let it slide a couple of times, and then we're going to have to let you go because we're not going to let you start to, our culture, you're not going to infect our culture in a negative way. And as a business owner, you need to spot those cancers and you need to cut them out immediately. What I notice on a lot of organizations, they leave those cancers in there. And little by little, then there starts to be like, for example, gossip. That's a non-negotiable. There's no gossiping. How are you going to talk bad about another employee? That's a no-go. If I hear that, I want to know who is the person saying that. That person's out. That's not part of what we're doing. We're not going to gossip about people. We're going to uplift people. We're going to help people grow. We're not going to
set the standard high at
very high.
Day Construction. How do you partner with somebody at Day Construction that you want to help in the community?
So right now, we're tapped out on new charities because I want to be strategic and make sure that we're giving those charities the best that we've got. We want to make a big impact and we want to be personalized. And I want to personally attend events, be involved. I want to encourage my staff to be involved. And like I said, I think that it all starts to tone at the top. If your staff sees that you are washing the feet, then they will as well. Jesus was that example of, he says, even though I'm the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, I will wash your feet. And Peter was like, no, don't wash my feet. He's like, I have to do this to show you guys that no matter If you're the richest Jeff Bezos in the whole world, are you willing to wash the feet of the lowest person on this earth, or you think you're better?
And what can buy you if you have all the money in the world and you can't humble yourself and serve somebody, right?
Amen.
So, tell us about one great miracle that you've seen happen at Day Construction, something big.
This was back in 2018, 2019. I probably had like maybe 10 employees or whatever at the time, but a couple jobs had gotten canceled. There was not enough money for payroll. I was already thinking psychologically, getting myself ready for the business to close. I said, there's no hope in sight. Yes. I said, Lord, obviously, thank you for the time that you gave me this business, but this is the end of the business. It's not looking too good. There wasn't any money to make payrolls. I was going to have to let everybody go. Lines of credits were already tapped. Credit cards were tapped. There's only so many places that you can go to for money until there's no more money. And then you have to let people know, hey, Monday, we're going to have to start to wrap this thing up. And through the grace of God, I'm on my knees, I'm praying, I'm weeping. I say, Lord, help me, help me.
You've given it your all.
I've given it my all. Like, it's all on you now, Lord, whatever you want to do. And like Thursday night, I get an email, hey, we have a job. We need it done over the weekend. We're going to pay you. Like, how much money do you need up front? We'll upfront you the money. And everything happened so that we were able to make the payroll by Friday. And
take care of
and
everything.
This has happened to me, Tony, like over 30 times. So people, they've seen my success, right? And I tell them, and they're like, well, Jonathan, I'm not seeing success like that in my life. And I say, are you really clinging on to the Lord, or are you trying to do it on your own? Because I have done it through the Lord.
Tell somebody that may be listening out there 1, 2, 3 key points that they should do to maybe work their business or connect with you or something like that. So let's talk about the 40 under 40 a little bit, and then we'll...
The 40 under 40 is the South Florida Business Journal's. It's an award that they do for young professionals under the age of 40 that have accomplished a lot in their career over, obviously, it could have started at 20 or for a short period of time because they're not very old, right? And the criteria is, like financially, have you acquired success financially through your business? Is it all about you? Are you giving back to the community? How involved are you in the community? And they use a very stringent criteria. There's a lot of applicants for this. The way you apply, somebody has to write a letter for you, nominating you. When you make your life not about you and you're storing up those heavenly treasures and you're working on building up the kingdom of heaven and you're working on helping others, the less fortunate. I was actually last night in the book of 1 Peter, and he talks about how the reason you're not getting the things that you want in your life is because you have a wrong intention behind it. God knows your heart. If your heart is, God, build up my business so that I can overflow and bless others, He will do so. But if your prayer is, God, build up my business so I could buy 15 Ferraris, not to say that you're not going to get the 15 Ferraris, but the amount of overflow of blessing is just not going to be the same. The reason I was able to achieve the 40 under 40 was because of my involvement with the community being so robust, so huge. Anytime there's a hurricane, a natural disaster, without question, we're buying water at Costco. We're filling up our trucks. We're going to Hurricane Irma relief. We're working with the American Red Cross. We have a heart for the community, and it's not to get 90% of the things that I do for philanthropy, people will never know about it. Jesus says, keep those things secret between you and the Lord, and then He will bless you, right? So if you're just doing things to get followers, and that's really your end goal, God knows your heart.
Here we have it. Great interview with you today. It's been amazing. To all our podcast listeners, if you want to reach out to Jonathan, you probably can at dateconstruction.com. .com, and he'll make sure to answer you. So it was great.
Thank you, Tony.
Time that we spent today. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for being a guest on the Caring, the Voices of the Caring Place.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And today we're joined by a recent graduate, Freddie. Hi, Freddie. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing, Miss Leah?
Great. Thanks for joining us. So,
thank you for having me.
Let's unpack a little bit.
Yes.
The Caring Place. What was your first impression?
When I first walked into the Caring Place, I was on the verge of suicide. So when I walked in, I had not been recognized by anybody. I had just recently been released from prison. I was a number for a long time. And I was on the street. Nobody would look at me or acknowledge me. And when I walked into the caring place, the first thing that struck me is when they called me by my name. It hit me. I was a person. And I really felt that I had hope for me and that I was in the right place.
I mean, you've always been a person. You've always been one of God's children, no?
Yes.
So you came here, you got a name. You felt seen.
Yes.
So you were in prison, you got released. What made you walk through the doors?
I was broken. I was broken. I had nothing left. I lost everything. You know, when they say that sometimes God will strip you of everything so that way he will reveal himself to you and he's all that you've got. That's what happened to me in life. Mm. And I was on the street, and like I said, I was suicidal. I was either going to jump in front of a bus or do something to land me in prison for the rest of my life.
So let's unpack that a little bit. You said lose everything. You lost everything.
Yeah.
You want to share a little bit more about that?
My story, you know, I grew up in a house full of domestic violence. I was troubled, grew up around the drugs, my father abusing drugs. My mom was abusing pills at the time, which I thought it was normal because it was given by a doctor and all of that. So my life, I came up using the drugs and everything else. But I think the turning point for me when everything led me down that road was I had an accident, I hurt my neck, and they prescribed me opioids. And being an addict, what better thing could happen that I could actually use drugs, feel better, and I started abusing them. I had pills to wake up in the morning to go to sleep. I made a bad decision one day, and I took my sleeping pills when I was leaving work. And I got into a car accident and I killed somebody. And unfortunately, you know, a family lost a mother, a wife, a grandmother, and I lost everything that I had as well. I lost my home, I lost my family, I lost my job, and ended up having to go away for a while.
Now you're here in front of us today.
Yeah.
So clearly that didn't stick what you were saying earlier. When you entered into the program,
yes,
after everything you went through, what's your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway would be is that there's people that care, that God uses people to change other people's lives. And I was shown compassion, love. They were giving me mercy at times. And most of all, hope.
Wow.
That I could restore my life.
Yeah. So this isn't a short one-way street program. When it comes to transforming your life and reintegrating to society, as we say, there's so many twists and turns in between. So why don't you talk a little bit about your journey while you were here at the Caring Place, what day one looked like and what your graduation day looked like?
Yeah. Day one, I walked in and I started getting that hope, you know, and I started feeling, how can I say this? Basically, the mission grabbed my hand softly and led me to God.
Amen.
And it was step by step that the process of the program, as a Jericho, going to the Bible studies, devotion, meeting with my case manager, doing my homework. I sat down and I opened myself up and God was talking to me and ministering to me. At the same time, I was also being ministered to by my case manager. I was working through my problems that I had. I still had legal issues that I was able to deal with, that the mission helped me deal with and close out with the court systems. And then, you know, I went through the Alpha. I gained a brotherhood, a family, something that I lost.
An extra family.
An extra family that know what I've been through and has gone through what I've gone through. and accepts me for what I am.
That's incredible. Now, Freddie, I've been honored and privileged to see your journey from day one to where we are now. I saw your Alpha graduation. Thank you so much for beautifully explaining all the steps of the program and your actual graduation. Now, at your actual graduation, I met somebody. Who was it that I met?
You're going to make me cry.
It's okay.
That was my son.
Your son. And he was there with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And you have been working hard to restore that relationship.
Yes.
We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
And you were in our program. You did all these steps. You did education.
Yes.
You've gone through it all.
Yeah.
And you're restoring your relationships.
Yeah.
So what's next? What are we doing now?
I'm still working on the relationship with my family, because unfortunately, the decisions that I've made, I still have to deal with the consequences of that. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I brought the addiction. Not only affects me, but it also affects my family. And it has affected my family in a very hard way that they're still dealing with. So I am continuing walking down that path with God and praying. And it's such an amazing thing, because when God does for you, he does it in a way that only God could do it.
Amen.
And so I'm watching all these miracles happen in my life, in my family. And so rebuilding now is getting back into the real world and working. And one thing about the mission is that the program works so perfectly for you that throughout all the stages, by the time you get ready to work, you have been clean and sober, you appreciate life, God is with you, and you have a relationship with God. And now you are able to work, save money, and get a home where you can live and call it home. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm currently looking for work. The mission has offered me a position.
Yes, so I heard, pending a few things, and God willing, you'll be on staff.
Yes.
Amazing. So what a lot of you don't know is Freddie used to be a CSA, which is a Christian service assignment, here at our admin office. And one of the things that we helped you with was get those beautiful pearly whites.
Yes.
Connecting you with the resources.
Yes.
Because we're more than just a shelter. We're more than just food. We're more than education. We're more than all of that. We try to really connect you so that you feel secure when you reintegrate to society. And I want you to tell someone that may have been in your shoes why they should find hope at the Caring Place.
The Caring Place gives you time, where I like to tell the new guys that come in, is it gives you a chance to be still and let God work in your life. And while you're being still, you don't have to worry about the chaos going on around the world or anything. You just let God work and let the people in the Caring Place do what they like to do, and that's love on you, give you hope, help you restore your life one step at a time.
Freddie, what an inspiration. What a story, from having it all to losing it all to rebuilding those relationships and continuing. We're praying for you, and we're making sure, and we're going to keep praying that everything aligns and you're able to join our staff one day.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
You got it.
Welcome to the Caring Place Spotlight, where we share what's happening across our centers and celebrate the moments that matter most. From community events to everyday acts of kindness, this is your inside look at how care comes to life. Today, we are joined by our Director of Community Development, Leanne Navarro.
So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, Leanne, you are a pleasure to have on every single day. So, the month of April. We're in April. Yeah. What is so important about April at the Caring Place?
Well, it's that month of the year that everywhere, right? We celebrate volunteers everywhere. People that give up their time, their talent, their treasure, right? That come to our centers with a big smile, with compassion. Now, for me, it's a 365 days a year that I celebrate our volunteers. But in April, we make extra special things so that they know how much we love them and how much we appreciate them. So we're grateful to be reminded that there is a specific month, but for me, it's every single day.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, you guys take photos of all your volunteer groups. We post them across social media. If you're not following, now's your chance. Facebook, Instagram, and X, make sure you follow along to see what all the volunteers are doing. So I know you post about them every single time throughout the month. I know April's specific because it's Volunteer Appreciation Month. So what did we do special this month for them?
We actually, for the very first time, we actually took them to Topgolf. What an experience. I mean, I was able to witness not only having fun and they feel the appreciation, but with one another. I mean, the bonding of getting to know new people, because some of them, they don't know each other. They volunteer in different departments, even a different campus. So I was able to witness how they came together and became friends. So they made new friends at the Volunteer Appreciation.
Oh, that's amazing.
But we also had our president, as you all know, Tony Villasuso. He came to say a few words to our volunteers, our volunteer coordinators, the special events and campaign coordinator. We were all there. To remind them again, we love you every single day, but today is extra special. So we had a nice brunch, we had coffee and drinks, and everybody was just having fun.
That's amazing. Well, I know that volunteering is more than just showing up and serving a meal. I mean, firsthand on this podcast, we see how lives are transformed every day because of that one person's smile, that one person's humility, that one person's compassion. So they really are that driving force of our center that helps our residents in transforming their lives. So this event, I know, meant mountains to them, and we were able to integrate the Miami and Broward centers. I mean, they even had little gifts and raffles. They had raffles.
It was really special. I mean, I went home and I started getting messages from some of them letting me know how much they loved it. So for me, it was truly, truly special. Mm-hmm. And of course, you're right. I mean, when they come to the center, let's face it, it's not the same when you're a case manager or you're a guest service. You know, this is your job. But when a volunteer walks through the door, our residents and homeless guests, they're looking at a friend, right? I don't get in trouble if I share with them. I don't get in trouble if I tell them what I'm going through. Because a volunteer, that's exactly what it is. It's a friend, right? In big smiles, they're always in a good mood. I mean, let's face it, they're volunteering, right? They're not doing this because they have to, but because they want to. So for me, it's just priceless. And I tell them every single time, because you're right, that smile and that encouragement that they always offer when they are around the centers, it's so important to everyone that we're serving, both residents, former homeless individuals, and homeless guests that come from the outside.
Now, you're giving me and some of the listeners FOMO here. How do I become a volunteer?
So easy. And I have to say that I'm so proud of the community development team, because once you go online to caringplace.org/volunteer and you do a quick inquiry, you send, it's like an email that you're sending over to us, and you let us know you want to volunteer. You can even pick what areas you want to volunteer in, and you'll get an email almost immediately. And that's why I'm proud of my team, right? Because immediately you'll be notified this is the next step, right? Once you go over to that next step, which is a volunteer orientation, which is amazing because it includes a tour, it includes a testimony from one of our residents, then you'll know exactly what to do to start volunteering. And then we have opportunities 365 days a year. So we want you to become a volunteer.
Yeah, and they can volunteer everywhere. They can volunteer serving meals, making phone calls, working in a database, sorting items. The possibilities are endless.
And sometimes they have their own ideas, okay? Yes. I mean, let's say that you have a workshop in mind that maybe we haven't done, or maybe even if we have done it, I always say that few of the best volunteer ideas that I've gotten, they have come from volunteers. So we always want you to also bring to the table any talent or gift that you have that you're like, oh my God, they're not doing that. Let me see if they can do it. So what we have available, and also your creativity.
Yeah, our volunteers are incredible.
Yes.
I mean, I can't wait for some of our listeners to join and be volunteers. I mean, not only will they be at our everyday centers, but they can also be at our special events and volunteer there. And honestly, the possibilities are endless. So yes. I'm so grateful this being the month of April and you being able to share a little bit about how we're thanking our volunteers, not just one day out of the year, not just 1 month out of the year, but every single day out of the year. I mean, we're grateful for you if you're listening and you're a volunteer. Thank you so much for everything you do in our community. Leanne, thank you so much. Anything else you want to go ahead and give a shout out?
Yes, Leah, thank you for that. So I'm talking directly to you, our listeners. If you're already a volunteer, thank you. But if you're not, I want you to take this opportunity to see how you can help. And also, I must tell you, being a volunteer is not a commitment that you have to make every week or every month. You volunteer when you can. I have volunteers that only come once a year. I have volunteers that only come every 3 months. So you make the decision of how you want to help. And I'm very proud of our volunteers, and I can tell you that they also give more than their time. So if maybe you don't have a lot of time now, but you want to become a volunteer to start helping us through a campaign or maybe through a monetary donation, please know that you are welcome to do so, and you'll become part of our volunteer family, and we'll continue to send information your way as we go on. So thank you again for having me.
Thanks for joining. Have a great day, guys.
We've just launched our brand new merch store, featuring all the products and merchandise you use every day. But above all, every purchase you make helps provide food and shelter for men, women, and children coming out of homelessness. There's also a big variety of cuddle toys, t-shirts, unisex college sweat jackets, caps, unisex hoodies, tumblers, plus aprons, pillow covers, and so much more. Visit our merch store at www.caringplace.org/merch.
Thank you again for tuning into our podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the Voices of the Caring Place. Love you all, and thank you for being with us. Until next time, God bless you.
Whoa. Hold on. Before you go, you got one last thing to do. You have to check out our 2025 in review. It's a powerful look at the incredible journey we've been on this past year and all that the Caring Place is doing for homeless men, women, children, and those in need in our community. So just scan the QR code or head to caringplace.org/highlights2025 and dive on in. And hey, one more thing, we want to hear from you. So drop a comment, tell us your favorite Bible verse, and help us get to know you better. And who knows, we may even feature it on our next episode.